Following up from the video where I was showing you how to use communication and mass media complete to expand your research on the essay questions, I just want to do a quick session. Well, I'm going to do two things. Firstly, I'm going to apply the same um, search function to a question on that would relate to media and harm. And then, really importantly, I'm going to show you how to take your annotated bibliographies and load them into Nvivo, because it would be really useful if you can do that before the workshop next week. Now, a couple of caveats on that. I am going to show you how to do that for a Mac. If you're a PC user, don't panic, no problem at all, because we have PC laptops in the labs that we're going to be working in. So if you can't do this, if you can't figure it out before, and you're a PC user, if you can't figure it out before the workshop, no sweat at all. Don't worry about it. We can sort you out on the day in about 5 minutes. But I did just want to do a couple of things, go through the same exercise with regard to the media harm question, because we've already done celebrity, and then show you how to actually export this stuff and put it into Nvivo. So one of the things that we've been through on the media harm question is the idea that there's nothing wrong with asking if media do kind of pose certain kinds of risks for the people who use them, for media users. There's nothing wrong with asking if media place young people at risk either. There's all kinds of examples, alcohol advertising, things where we can say, well, there's really, really good reasons to think that they might. But it's just that we have to account for these effects in sophisticated terms, which are really more about how people become enculturated. The question of media effects is really more a question of how ideas and attitudes that probably aren't particularly useful or helpful for society become embedded in the common sense of the lives that we lead. And in that sense, a lot of the research on young people isn't so much about how media shape their behaviours as how media serve as a source of enculturation, as a source of learning, and how media sometimes can take ideas that are problematic or hurtful and make them appear to be common sense in a way that hurts young people. And over the years, the topic here, which is one of the ones that students get most interested in, because quite often, in my experience at least, it's the closest to their experience, is the question of body image. So the idea here being that young people are bombarded from a very early age with all kinds of ideas about what they should want to be and what they should want to do and how they should want to look. And this is something that is problematic for girls. It's also problematic for boys, but we are going to talk about the research on girls here. So what I've done here is I've already shown you know how to get into communication and mass media complete. And I did a very quick search here and it came up with some pretty interesting results. So I just simply put in body image and teenagers. And one of the things you can see here, now remember that I've only looked for scholarly peer-reviewed articles. And we've got things between 1999 and 2015. And we've got a nice little set of 16 articles. So we can that really very quickly give us a good sense of the range of questions that we should ask about the relationship between the images of bodies and girls that real girls see in the media and the way they think about themselves. So we see the role of teen fashion magazines. We definitely want to have a look at that. So remember, we click over here, we add this to our folder. This looks really interesting. It's actually talking to pre-adolescent girls about the impact of Disney. That's fascinating. We want to hear that because we want to know what the audience say about these things. This looks like it's more of a survey that talks about how adolescents, who are their favorite television characters, and whether we can draw any correlation between who they like and what their bodies look like. Here we have the idea that, again, this relates very directly to the idea of harm, the idea that television images can actually make adolescent girls upset. The relationship between, this is really interesting as well, because one of the things that this one would say is that if we're talking about media and body image, we're not just talking about the things that powerful media industries, Hollywood films and television shows and things do. We're also, importantly, in the digital age, talking about how teenagers talk to each other about their bodies. And the question of how eating disorders are understood online is a really, really important topic. And it's actually a lot more that's written about this than is here. So if you were to click on this, you get a really good sense. It would be really interesting to have a look at the bibliography to take you in those other directions, because that question of the relationship between body image and understandings of anorexia as they are generated by other young media users is a really hot and interesting topic. Here we've got it connected to sexting, so we want to have a look at that as well. If we look down here, Gene Kilbourne, again, look, you've got to be a little bit experienced to know this, but Gene Kilbourne has been writing about images of the body and advertising for decades. Really, really good experienced writer. So you're going to get a wealth of knowledge from Gene Kilbourne, so you definitely want to be reading that. Tanning, isn't that fascinating? So we've kind of got ideas of relating it to skin cancer. So this is really great stuff, because do you know what it's telling us? It's telling us that this idea of how does media affect body image is reaching out into all kinds of things, from skin cancer to anorexia to self-worth to sexting to self-esteem, all of those sorts of things. So it's really, really illustrating that idea that behind simple questions about media effects, the idea that certain portrayals of body types can do certain kinds of harm, there's a range of different things that you could talk about. Well, what kind of harm, and how do people get involved in it? So remember, we go to our folder. We've got a range of things. I'm going to say that with a lot of these, you're probably going to know straight off that a lot of these are going to be really, really useful. So you can download them straight as PDFs, and you can put them in a file, and you can import those into Nvivo too. But let's just show you what we did last time. So we want the annotate bibliography because we want to be able to go through and look for key ideas. We're hitting save. We've got this. We hit edit, select all, edit, copy. We then open Microsoft Word. Paste special. We want unformatted text. This is what we've got. And we save it somewhere. call it body image readings. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my desktop. Let's save it as a Word document. Okay. Then we've done that. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Nvivo. So we've got it open here. You can see I've got a series of projects already on the go. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it body image. Just put it on my desktop. Then this is what you're going to see. Okay. Then you want to bring your, because obviously what we're going to do in the, well, it's not obvious, you haven't done it yet. What we're going to do in the workshops is we're going to import this stuff and we're going to show you how to start doing searches on it and that kind of thing. This is what we would call data. So if you've got the Mac, and again, we'll show, apologies to PC users, I'll show you how to do it on a PC later on. We hit data, okay. We want, now what's happening here is you're bringing in the information that you want to analyze in Nvivo. So we want to import documents. So I've got a desktop, body image readings, and we're just waiting for this to drag the file in. And there we go. So then this is what we're going to start analyzing when we get in there. But that's basically how to do your literature review search, and also how to import them into Nvivo. You can see here there's a PDF file. So obviously if you went back here, if you knew, for example, that there were certain things that you just want to read straight away and you want to start analyzing straight away, and the PDF's right there, just download it straight away, put it in the same place and import it as a PDF. And if you can do that before the workshop, that would be really great as well. But anyway, that's how to set about doing a literature review on a media harm topic, how to gather the data, save it in a file, and put it into Nvivo. And then we're going to teach you what to do with it once we get to there in the workshop. So I'll see you in the workshop.